Hello, I'm Andy Agathangelo, the founder of the campaign group Transparency Task Force, and I'm also a co-founder of the Woodford campaign group, which is an organisation for individuals who invested into Woodford and feel rather aggrieved about what has been going on. I'm about to interview Suresh Mehta to get his thoughts about this. Suresh, could you very, very briefly introduce yourself and explain which Woodford product or investment you went into? Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Andy. My name is Suresh Mehta. I'm 75-year-old and I invested a significant sum of money, about £32,000, into these units with Woodford Equity Income. With such a lot of publicity and endorsement from Hargreaves Lansdown, that I felt compelled to feel that they were safe and ideal investments for our pension fund, SIP, which we had with Hargreaves Lansdown.
Thanks, Suresh. And tell us, why are you having this interview with me? Why have you agreed to have it and to record it and to get it out there on social media and so on?
I just feel that Hargreaves Lansdown really let me down by the amount of endorsement and publicity and advertising that they did of all Woodford activities. Woodford was a star coming in with some stellar performance in the previous role that he had at Investec, and therefore it was so easy to get succumbed to that, and you just feel that's, yep, this is the guy for us for the long term. And then Link let us down because they didn't monitor what Woodford was doing, and he was allowed to act really ultra vires in the way that they had said what they would do, which they exceeded.
Thank you, Suresh. Who is your MP, and would you be happy for us to send a link to the recording of this conversation to him or her?
It'd be wonderful. It's Mrs. Mary Robinson. So, yes, I'm sure she'd be very helpful.
Thank you very much. The next question you've already touched on a little bit. Suresh, why was it that you chose to invest in a Woodford fund?
Just really, you look for people with good reputation, good record. Little did I realize that he would be investing in illiquid companies, basically, i.e. illiquid investments, that then caused a major problem for him.
Thank you. And again, you've touched on this, Suresh. Did you use an investment platform, and if so, which one?
Hargreaves Lansdown, and I really feel aggrieved with Hargreaves. I think they were punting this to such a high level. People like me were just absolutely induced into it. You're working. You don't have time to do huge research, and you think Hargreaves will look after me because I've been a customer for such a long time.
Thank you. When you invested, what, if anything, was your understanding of your statutory rights and your protections through the Financial Ombudsman Service and the Financial Services Compensation Scheme?
I have to confess that I didn't think. You tend to go into investments with a positive look to it. You think you've done reasonable amount of research and you're looking for the right people, right reputation, right background from Hargreaves, and Hargreaves themselves are a reputable firm. At that time they were top 100 firm, FT index. So I thought I was into looking at a safe investment. Wasn't really expecting massive growth and all that, but I certainly thought that my money was safe. And as it turns out, it wasn't.
Thank you, Suresh. Overall, Do you have a feel for how much you might be getting back? You've mentioned the amount you invested, so do you have a monetary amount about how much you think you'll get through this?
Under what's on offer now from the FCA,
Yeah,
I'll probably get about £1,800 if I'm lucky.
that's from the scheme of arrangement, if it's approved.
Yes.
Is that right? Thank you.
Yeah.
About £1,800, I think you said. And do you know how much you would get if you were to have a successful FOS claim, roughly?
I think it'll be £10,000.
Okay, thank you.
And that, sorry, Andy. Yep, that 10,000 is only counting of my losses and a little bit of income, nothing else. I mean, if I was to say that if my funds had grown 5%, then that amount becomes 20,000 easily.
I understand. Thank you for explaining, Suresh. How has the Woodford scandal, for want of a better phrase, impacted you, your family? What difference has it made?
More likely, what's the future impact? Because the funds were in our pension fund. It's what I will be able to pass on to my kids will be less, and it's shaken me. You want, as I said, you were thinking this as a mid-tier risk investment with a good company, with a good manager, and through a good, the intermediary. And really, all of them have let me down.
Suresh, what do you think about the way the FCA has handled these matters?
Oh, dreadful, absolutely dreadful. So long, they weren't doing anything. And then they get along and codge up a deal. And it's just, I cannot believe how slow they have been. They don't seem to have any bite. They just don't want any confrontation, and they seem to hunker down and get lost in their back, in the bunker again. They are, when we look at the American authorities and similar organizations, they are incredible. They go in and really punch their way into it and say, right, we will deal with this. You have not done your job. That has never been said properly, never, by FCA to anyone, as far as I know.
And in terms of the scheme of arrangement itself, this proposal, what do you think about that?
Oh, I see so many varying parties involved. I sometimes get the feeling people become apathetic. 6-7 years waiting for some news from 2019. So it's 4 years, yes, but people have invested over a much longer period, and you just get tired, you think. And a lot of people are like me, getting old. Aggravation is something that you try and avoid. So it's easier to say, well, just give me 6p in the pound or whatever you're going to give me, and let's call it quits. I've lost money. Good. Okay. But really, Link and them should have been working much harder for us. And they shouldn't have let Woodford just have a free run at what he wanted to do.
My second to last question, Suresh. So what do you think about the voting process and the outcome of the vote, which, of course, as everybody now knows, is very much in favour of the scheme of arrangements? What do you think about that?
As I said, really, just to people don't have time, people don't have the stomach for aggravation and litigation, anything, which could take 3 years, 4 years. And then looking at FCA's performance, it could be 5 years. I don't know whether I'll be here in 5 years' time. My kids will have no input and no knowledge about this, and we will have lost. So I just feel that there's enough losses incurred by me. I have to tell you. And sometimes you got to stand up and fight and make your point, and you have to make time for this to be able to do that. This is one. I really want to take it forward.
Thank you, Suresh.
I did vote against the scheme of arrangements all the way through.
Thank you for sharing that information, Suresh. And the final question, what, if anything else, would you like to say before we bring our conversation today to a close?
First of all, of course, I wish you guys, you've done a fantastic job and you're putting up a battle on our behalf. I am so grateful there are decent people around who do that, because otherwise we've got nothing. If FCA was to be followed, the scheme of arrangement would be finished and done. And by March, everything closed, go home.
Suresh Mehta, thank you very much indeed for spending time with me today. As you already know, the conversation was recorded. After a little bit of editing, just to make it tidy, we will send a copy of it to your MP, and we'll also make use of it in relation to our social media activity, our campaign activity, and potentially also in relation to the very important sanction hearing that's taking place on the 18th of January. Mr. Mehta, thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you, sir.